Imagine that for several months, you've been desperately trying to find a job. You've sent out dozens of resumes, gone to interviews, and waited by the phone. Nothing. Your unemployment benefits are just enough to cover the essentials: housing, utilities, and groceries. You're not living large. You're barely making ends meet, but you're surviving. Then, finally, a breakthrough. You get an invitation. You're hired. For the first time in months, you have a job. You have a paycheck coming in. Finally, things seem to be looking up. But then, the catch is revealed. As soon as that paycheck hits your bank account, the government assistance vanishes. You are no longer entitled to unemployment benefits. And suddenly, you realize one paycheck isn't enough to cover everything. On top of that, you have new expenses you didn't have before. You have to pay for transportation to get to work. You have to pay for kindergarten for your child. The bills are piling up. You sit down with a calculator and the truth is brutal. After getting a job, after doing everything right, your total disposable income has actually decreased. You have less money now than you did on benefits. This isn't just bad luck. This is a systemic failure. Economists call this demoralizing situation a poverty trap. It's real, it's widespread, and it affects millions of people around the world. A poverty trap is a situation where economic and social circumstances actively contribute to the worsening of poverty, often locking families in for generation after generation. Some of these circumstances are individual, like lacking access to healthy food or a decent education. Others affect entire nations, stemming from widespread corruption or the devastating effects of climate change. But the deepest tragedy of the poverty trap is this: it is often a direct, unintended consequence of the very measures designed to fight poverty. The cure creates the cage. Throughout history, societies have tried to help the poor. Until the 20th century, this was mostly the work of religious communities and private charities. Today, we have large-scale social assistance programs. These programs often come in the form of government subsidies for housing, food, electricity, and medical care. They are essential safety nets. Typically, this assistance is provided only to those whose income falls below a legally established level. The policy aims to help those who need it most. But here's the flaw: recipients lose these payments the moment their income exceeds that level. It doesn't matter if they've achieved real stability or not. The plug is pulled. This vicious circle doesn't just harm the poor. It affects those on the edge too, and it creates a drag on the entire economy. At the core of most economic models is the assumption that people are rational. They weigh costs and benefits. If a low-income person knows that starting a job will leave them with nothing or less than staying on assistance, the rational choice is to stay put. Of course, people take jobs for many reasons: to follow social norms, to feel productive, to align with their personal values. Dignity matters, but the main incentive for employment is income. It has to pay off. And when the incentive to work is removed, the employment rate falls, the economy slows down. People either continue living at the same stagnant level, or worse, they risk sinking to the very bottom. To break this cycle, some have suggested a radical solution: completely abolish social assistance programs. Just get rid of them. But most experts agree this isn't just unfeasible, it's inhumane. The real question is, how can we restructure the system of social benefits so it doesn't punish people for getting a job? How do we reward work instead of penalizing it? Different countries are trying different approaches. In some places, people continue to receive assistance for a set period after finding employment. In others, the benefit is reduced gradually as income grows, softening the blow. These measures can't completely solve the issue of financial motivation. The math still gets tight, but they do reduce the risk of falling headfirst into that poverty trap. In a third group of countries, the approach is broader. Social benefits like education, childcare, and healthcare are distributed more evenly among all citizens, not just the poorest. But some thinkers believe we need to take public goods to a completely new level. They propose a universal basic income, a regular cash payment given to every member of society regardless of their wealth or employment status. This is the only measure that could completely eliminate the poverty trap. Why? Because under UBI, any money you earn from work would supplement your government benefit, not replace it. Your income would always grow when you work. By providing a stable minimum income for everyone, a government could, in theory, completely eradicate the problem of extreme poverty. It builds a floor that no one can fall through. This idea has been around for centuries, championed by economists and thinkers since the 18th century. But to this day, universal basic income remains just that, an idea. There have been limited experiments in some countries. They show promise, but they don't allow us to predict what effect UBI would have on the scale of an entire state, let alone the whole planet. The leap is huge. Regardless of which strategy a government chooses, solving the poverty trap requires one core ingredient: respect for the will and freedom of people. We have to give them the power to change their own lives. Only by giving people a genuine opportunity to build something better for themselves and for society in the long term can we finally truly break the vicious circle of poverty. Thanks so much for watching Finn About Money. If this video made you think, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive, and share your opinion in the comments. Is universal basic income the future, or is there another solution we missed? I want to hear your take.